Good morning, you bad, beautiful bitches. It is Wednesday morning. Doozy of an episode here. Jamie Weeks, friend of mine. I'm blessed enough to call him a mentor. Is he the greatest franchisee to walk the earth? We don't know, okay? Owner and founder of a company called Sweathouz, Contrast Therapy Studios. Greatest place on earth, in my opinion. Start my morning every day with a cold plunge. Hello. Sit back, relax. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a No Limits Podcast. So you do 50.
Listen, I've done like when I do like 44, 45, it's really cold.
Yep.
And I don't enjoy it. But there's something, and listen, it may be mental, right? I mean, Huberman could be right here saying, "Oh, Jamie, there's no difference between 45." There is. Mm-hmm. If it's 49 or 50, if I see 50, I'm like, "Oh, I got this." I see 49, I'm like, "I don't think I'm gonna do this."
What are your thoughts on him, on Huberman?
God, I love him so much.
Yeah.
I want to be him so bad. I saw a picture of him recently. Like shirtless, climbing, hiking with some bag on his shoulder.
Yep.
And I was like, damn it.
Is he ripped up?
Tatted up.
No way, really?
Ripped up and tatted up. I was like, can we just like try to maybe be 5'2"? Do you have to be perfect?
He's a beast.
Oh, the guy's the best.
That's,
you know, my favorite thing about Huberman is I understand 90% of what he's saying. He speaks in a way, and I think it's because he's a professor and he's like, you know, because he's obviously so smart,
right?
Which is what I love about Rogan too. Rogan's crazy smart,
Yes.
but I understand everything he's saying.
Yep.
Like it makes sense to me, you know, whether I agree or not. Most of the time I do. But I feel the same way about Huberman. Peter Attia, on the other hand, will talk, and I'm just like, bro.
Yeah, it's.
But he's a next level smart.
Yeah,
he's a different level of smart.
That's why I like Rogan when he speaks. It's in bite-sized forms. That's
right. That's right. I get it. It makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And I understand it, and it's just enough where I can Google it and start going down my own path.
Right.
I think Rhonda Patrick does the same thing when she speaks. It's amazing because I'm understanding what she's saying. I'm someone, I don't know, you know, everyone learns a different way. And I've really found myself learning more when I see the words, when I see the subtitles with what they're saying, because they will say a word that I don't know what it means or how to spell it. And I will stop.
Right.
I will look at that word. I will go Google it. I will do that shit.
Yep.
And it gets me to a point where I feel like, I mean, you and I've talked about this. The level of information flow in the last 10 years, but really the last 4 or 5. I tell the young guys like you, I had this conversation with you and I was like, dude, you're 28 and the shit you're learning at 28 and I'm learning at 48, where
Insane.
you're going to be at 48, it's going to be next level.
They say like information doubles every 11 months, like the speed of information.
Is that right?
That's allegedly is what's been said. But yeah, you're right. You have a fire hydrant of information. You can allegedly, I got to figure out how to do this. You can use filters on TikTok to turn on a filter where every video is just educational.
What?
And they call it micro learning. So imagine instead of just,
I've seen advertisements for that. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah. I
I thought they were just telling me I was doing that already.
No, you can, because my feed is like, oh,
I am so
damn
deep.
near unspeakable
I
stuff.
am so deep in Antiques Roadshow right now. Like if I see one more middle-aged person with a plate that's worth $85,000,
how does that happen?
Like, how does that happen?
Any plate I see, I'm like, that could be sea glass if you break that. You know?
By the way, the best part is watching these people's reactions. Like you can tell the people that just don't need the money. They're like, well, this is going to be $8,500. They're like, oh, I thought it would be a little bit more than that. And then the next person's like, it's worth $2,000, and they just crying tears. Just like, I just got the jerks.
Are you now like a pro appraiser? You're like, iPad here, second gen, $120.
It's such an amazing show and it's such an amazing concept to begin with. I think it still goes on.
I believe it does.
It's like a tour.
It's like American Idol, that show. Pawn Stars is over, right? They don't do Pawn Stars anymore?
They're still doing
way,
Pawn Stars?
really?
By the way, that was like an OG.
Really?
That was a.
Pawn Stars' parent brand.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's other shows.
I feel like Pawn Stars was like an OG reality in the grit kind of like I just felt like I was in a business.
This is where the comes from, by the way.
Oh, is it? 'Cause it drives me fucking crazy.
We were at headquarters and I kept doing that in person. It comes from I'll listen and me listening. I go,
So we're just having a conversation, two guys, and he looks at me and he goes, And I'm like, did you just eat Nutella? Like, what is wrong with you? By the way, this scene is amazing where I'm just watching a kid cruise by on a scooter. She's like, why is she not in school? It's Friday.
It is
at
Friday.
1 o'clock.
It is,
How is that kid not? Yeah. It's like a 6-year-old girl.
That's bad. That's bad parenting right there.
Right, what are we doing?
We need a hot mic out there, speakers out there.
Get her in here and be like, why aren't you in third grade?
See, you're with your level of attention span, you're in the best seat.
I am. I'm not going to be able to do this.
No, it's the perfect.
There's these balloon flowers over there that are floating around that I'm like freaked out.
I'm worse than you. That's why I have to sit over here.
This guy's definitely going to fall down in a second. He's old as shit.
Expecting a flood in those pants.
This guy's about to steal something for sure.
Yeah.
Where's my bag?
Oh, yeah. Locked up.
Yeah, we're good.
Let's start early. You're such a fascinating human.
I'm not.
You really are.
Kevin, you're such a...
You really are. Is it question number one, is it tough being one of the most attractive men in Atlanta? Because I'm having I just can't make eye contact with you.
I know it's difficult. What's amazing is that when you're 5'7.25", well, that's about it.
That's
it's amazing to be 5'7.25".
Life at that level is.
I see the world so differently. I don't worry about hitting my head on anything.
Right. Yes.
My neck doesn't hurt because I'm always looking up.
Right. Born and raised in Atlanta?
No, I was actually born in Rochester, New York.
Oh.
And then we moved around a good bit. Home for me is really Greenville, South Carolina, easily up the upstate, easily South Carolina. And so I think we were there in 7th grade on, and I've been in Atlanta with my wife Reagan of 20 years, going on 21 years.
Wow.
2 girls. I'm 48, so I've been there for 25 years, 26 years.
Wow. You have one of the most unique business brains on you. Was mom or dad an early entrepreneur? Like where does early days, little Jamie?
Yeah, I think, so my dad worked in retail, a bunch of different businesses, but really he worked for a gentleman in Greenville that owned a bunch of jewelry stores. And so I learned at an early age, when I was 15 or 16, he would put me, whether it was I was, over a holiday break or a summer job or whatever it was. I usually worked at the country club as a cart boy, not really a country club, golf course, as a cart boy. And he would put me in different parts of the jewelry store to learn things. So like for a summer, I worked in watch repair. And for a summer, he put me on, they offered credit. So he put me on the phones calling people about not making their payments. I was like 16, 17 years old.
A debt collector.
I was, right? And so I remember coming home and he would be like, how'd it go? I'm like, well, I made, 400 calls today and 200 are in jail. And they're like, what? He was like, oh yeah, that's normal. I'm like, that's normal? He's like, well, that's just what they tell you. They're not really in jail. They just don't want to make the payment. And so then he put me in a lot of different places. But when I was in college, he put me in the diamond pit. And I knew nothing about diamonds. I was like, Dad, I don't know anything about what you don't need to know anything. He goes, here's what you do. When they ask how much this is, you say, this one's $100 a month. This one's $200 a month. This one's $300 a month.
Right.
And I was like, so I don't say the price. He's like, well, people buy payments. People don't buy the price.
Interesting.
So you just tell them that. And so when you think about when you're buying a home,
wow,
you don't really, the price of the house is much less important to you as you're looking for a home right now. It's about the payment. So how many of your conversations with Ashley are about the payment and not so much about the price of the house?
That's interesting.
Which is how low interest rates have such an impact on what's happened the last 15 years with these interest rates where they've been and now where they're going.
Right.
And so people buy payments. Whether it's a car payment or house payment, people buy payments.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. I'm curious. You mentioned bringing the wife into breaking down monthly payments. This is, as someone who's in a long-term successful marriage, newly married, I am the financier, if you are.
Yeah, I am not.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so Reagan pays all the bills.
Oh, I love it already.
And then I handle the bigger stuff.
Okay, right? See, I got to etch or sketch that. And
You're covering it all.
Covering it all. She is the chief heart officer, if you will. She's turning the apartment into a home.
This is an interesting conversation. So I was just with someone recently who's been married for 3 or 4 years. And they were adamant that everything was separated. Everything's separated. Financially, everything's separated.
Right.
And I was just like, okay. And it's not that I'm judging that in any way, because I think for every person it's going to be different.
Right.
And everyone has, talking about money is an awkward kind of thing.
Totally.
Right? I mean, you and I have had some really amazing in-depth conversations about it. And I think there's that level of trust where I trust you and you trust me that we can have open conversations. That's really a big part of it. I also think when it comes to to marriage and money, Reagan's goals are, now let's relate this to Ashley.
Yep.
Reagan's goals are, I want that couch. My goal is, I want a home in Jackson Hole. So those are two completely different goals.
Right.
She can achieve hers in about 7 minutes on her phone. I needed about 7 to 17 years to achieve mine, right? And so those are two completely different conversations. There are also two different mindsets when it comes to where it's happening financially in your world. It wasn't really that drove me to being an entrepreneur. I think it was more, listen, I'm an only child.
Yep.
And so I grew up with my mother, had multiple sclerosis, was in a wheelchair. And so I had to be really independent. My dad's working retail, so he was working a lot of long, late hours, right? And traveling a lot.
Right.
And so it's me and her. I mean, he was there as much as he could be. He was amazing with her. And so I think having that, I'm a golfer.
Yep.
So that's another independent mindset. And I've always had a chip on my shoulder. Just always.
Right.
And if there's ever a time I don't have a chip on my shoulder, I try to create one. Because if I can get a chip on my shoulder, whew.
It's the chip that gives you the edge.
I want you to think about successful football coaches, successful athletes. You think Kobe Bryant didn't have a chip on his shoulder to be better than Michael Jordan?
Right. Totally.
Dude, you're out of your mind.
Yep. Yeah.
You think Paul Pierce didn't have a chip on his shoulder?
Right.
Kevin Garnett?
Yep.
Those boys had the biggest chips on their shoulder in the world.
Totally.
And so it takes that chip on your shoulder, and then it takes really thinking outside the box and speed and scale.
Right.
Speed and scale. And so Mike's my business partner, and we're going to do some really cool things this year, some really interesting things. We're disruptors.
Yep.
And we think we have some things to go disrupt and have some fun with it. But you got to have a chip on your shoulder.
Totally.
Mike's got a chip on his shoulder, and I love it.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. He's from Canada. Maybe that's the chip.
Could be the chip. Canadians?
Yeah. Canadians have a chip on their shoulder?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's maple.
Never
Now
been.
another
Never been.
generalization.
Never
Maple
been.
syrup. They seem kind. A little bit of a little chip.
Don't they
potentially.
call their police Mounties? Don't they call their police
Yes,
Mounties?
and their dollars are loonies, which is a coin. So that's is it $1 or $2 is a loonie?
It's $1 a loonies. Wait, I did not know it's called a loony.
Yeah, imagine carrying a bunch of loonies in your pants.
Oh, that guy's so rich. He has all the loonies.
He's got all the loonies.
He's got all the loonies.
Oh, where are you going tonight, huh? Get your loonies ready.
He's going to. I'm going to strip club. Got a bunch of loonies to throw. Hope I don't hit anyone in the eye with these loonies. That would hurt.
Wait, so did you guys? When did you guys form LFC?
So I formed LFC after I sold the Orange Theory business in 2017-18. Still a part of it, but then I immediately formed LFC. It was my family office, and I was fortunate that the private equity firm who's here in Boston allowed me to do that. They just said, "Hey, listen, be transparent." I said, "I think there's something in franchising that I can do more of." And so I pretty quickly invested in the Dogtopia daycare franchise. And
Because you became the largest franchisee
I'm
Dogtopia.
one of their largest. I think I have the most licenses, but I'm one of the largest, and we're growing that one pretty quick. And then in 2019, I was like, I think there's something in recovery that we're not doing yet. And so I opened the first Sweathouz in November of 19, and it was just saunas and vitamin C showers. And then I opened the second in Atlanta in January 20. Timing could not have been perfect for a global pandemic. And so fortunately, in Georgia, we shut down March 15th or 16th and reopened May 15th, so 60 days. And when we reopened May 15th, for the next 60 days, more people were coming in Sweathouz than ever before. And it wasn't from TikTok hadn't taken off in a massive way yet. It wasn't the momentum it has now. And so I kind of sat there and said, am I going to be the idiot that goes all in during a global pandemic to expand a business that I think has legs? And so I am that idiot. And but it takes I look back at that and I wonder what caused me and made me do that. And it was more of, and you and I've talked a lot about this.
Yeah.
You got to make bets. And if you can make a bet on yourself, that's a bet. And if you believe,
Totally.
that's one where you make bets where you have control.
Right. Especially,
I don't have control on the over of the Boston-Washington game tonight.
right.
I have no control.
Right.
Am I going to bet it? Of course I'm going to bet
Hammer
it.
the over. you know?
Obviously. Now I'm definitely
course.
doing the under. Definitely going under. Obviously going under. But when I make bets on things that I can control, where I know that you're not going to out-hustle me. I'm 7 days a week. I'm in the office 7 days a week. Mike Tan's in the office with me 7 days a week. We just roll hard. Then I feel pretty good about the bet. And here we are.
I got an audio message from Jamie that's about 5 minutes long, which was some of them. I was ready to run through a brick wall, and probably a minute of that was talking about how you two compete to, like, when you met him, you were like, oh, I like him because he hustles so hard.
Yeah,
You know?
I texted Millie, who's worked for me for 8 years, last night at like 11 o'clock. And I said, I've found my equal in fast walking. We walked to John and Bleeker's last night to get pizza, obviously before Carbone, because we were like, at 5 o'clock, I need pizza before I go to Carbone. Thank God I did that, or I would have had no Italian last night.
Right, yeah.
So we go to John's and Bleeker, which was insane. Never had it before. Amazing. And I was like, oh, we're fast walking. Oh, we're speed walking. We're going. By the way, you can tell so much by the way someone walks, their sense of urgency. And I've gotten upset at people in the office before for just walking slow. I'm like, dude, this ain't a fucking Sunday at noon, bro.
Yep.
Wherever you're going, speed it the fuck up.
Totally.
Like, let's go.
Yeah.
I need some urgency in your step.
Yep, 100%.
And when I walk into a studio, whether it was an Orange Theory back in the day, or a Dogtopia, or a Sweathouz, or wherever we're going next with it, I need some urgency. Right. I need a sense of urgency.
How do you analyze your next play? Like, as you were looking to get involved with Orange Theory, or looking to get involved with Dogtopia, or to start Sweathouz, what are you analyzing? What's on your checklist of like, okay, if I'm gonna get involved, it's got to have X, Y, and Z. You know, do you have like a business philosophy?
I don't know if it's. I've never really said it was a philosophy. I've never really wrote it down and said, okay, these are the 10 steps. I don't know that I ever want to do that either. I'm kind of a little more off the hip and stuff like that. Momentum's a big one. Growing momentum's a big one. I like businesses that are appealing to 18 to 30-year-olds. Now, why would I do that? Because that means it's got legs.
Right.
If I'm looking at a business that's appealing to 55, 60, 65, which I have, that's a different model. That's a different mindset. That's not the social media influencer mindset. That's much more of a, newspaper mindset.
Totally.
Right. And so if I find things where I'm seeing 18 to 30-year-olds post a lot and I see momentum, I also, and Mike and I, this is where we share every investment that we're going to make. It's going to be about lifestyle, health, and wellness. And it's going to be about longevity. Right. It's going to be, I'm long vanity. Right. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that if you can just say, I want a fund that just invests in vanity plays for the next 20 years, you're probably going to do pretty well. Right. I mean, I look at you and I'm like, look at that hair. I got to get hair like that.
I'm trying to keep up with you. All right. Jeez. That was the first time Jamie and I met was on a Zoom.
Yeah. I was like, bro, do you have better hair than me? Because I'm already not liking where this is going.
We can't hang out if this is how it's going to be.
That's right.
Great meeting you.
But I think if you have, listen, Kev, sometimes the simple answer and the right answer is right in front of you. You and I had this conversation the other day, which is where this stuff comes from. I sent you an audio text about Chipotle. Yeah. And I think it's just so funny when I go to Chipotle and I stand in line and we make my bowl and then I sit down and I eat it and I'm like, oh my God, this is the best thing I've ever had in my life. What I'm not putting together at times is that I'm the one that made that bowl.
Right.
They cooked the chicken and they made the vegetables and now they have the good queso. The old queso when they started it was not very good, but now the queso I think is pretty good. They just made that stuff. I'm the one that put it all together. Right. So I shouldn't be shocked that it's amazing because I just put the stuff on there that I loved. Right. And so I have a friend that's on the board at Chipotle. And when he told me he was being named to the board at Chipotle 3 or 4 years ago, I was just like, that's got to be the biggest no-brainer gig in the world. Totally. If there's a business where you're like, we need the space to be bigger for the line, I'd like to invest in that.
Yes.
When you have to build a bigger store for the line, not wrap around tables and chairs, you're doing something right. Totally. And you're making your own bowl. It's a simple process, and I'm picking what I want on it. Yep. And so it's just not that difficult to just say it's simple. It's simple. Just go do that.
And they don't ask for a tip when you get to the POS system. You ever been? They must have this in Atlanta.
I do.
Everywhere we go, they're asking for a tip, coffee. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chipotle doesn't do that.
No.
Feels amazing. It seems like America's getting a little tipped out.
When are we going to have the reversal there? Because I feel like you're starting to see a reversal in a lot of things over the last 5 years. Right. But we haven't now gone to the reversal. I'll tell you, probably the only way you're going to get that reversal is when the economy and rates and all those things start coming down. Right. We had a dinner last night that was exorbitant. I mean, I don't know if I used that word correctly, by the way. I've never used that word in my life.
Exorbitant.
Exorbitant. Priced more than it should have been.
I think it's right.
Well, I mean,
I repeated it because I liked it. That was me to retain the info.
Me.
Not to, yeah. Hurley, do we have a...
Because it's only you. And there's no way you're going to know.
No. You think I'm a Webster's dictionary?
I could just make words up. You're like, oh, it's a great word.
You could literally, you could have said, oh, my business falafel is...
Can we talk about this shit for a second?
Please.
Holy shit.
Your thoughts.
So I drink 8 to 12 Topo Chicos a day.
Whoa, God bless you. I've never had a Topo Chico.
You didn't have one in the office when you were down there? No? The green bottles? This is amazing.
Yeah, right? I had my first one yesterday. Incredible. I thought that was booze.
Why is this? Oh, really?
Because the can next to a
Yeah,
Selly can,
it looks the same thing.
identical.
Why?
Very similar.
So it's got 35 calories. There's 8 grams of carbs in it. Not a huge deal. 7 grams of sugar. 7 grams of added sugar. I'm not sure I love that. Not that I would know. They're just telling me I'm not supposed to like that.
It's right.
My phone tells me.
I'm assuming it's natural sugar, you know?
I think added sugars couldn't be. Are they natural if they're added? It doesn't matter. It's amazing. If I'm worried about 8 grams of carbs and 35 calories, I got bigger issues.
Yeah, those things. Yes.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
This is not an ad either.
No.
I just drank this for the first time.
Yeah,
It's so
what a
good.
great endorsement by Jamie. These in the office would crush, you know?
Crush. We need these in the office, Mike.
Speaking of your office, you're a big guy of company culture.
Yeah.
And when I came down to HQ 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
the company culture
Thank you.
in LFC is,
Thank you.
it's actually perfect timing where you guys just went to Vayner. You might have felt it in there.
Dude, that place I took. So I'd never been to an office like that before. And Mike had been.
Yep.
And so we walked in and we get in the elevator and he's like, "You're not gonna believe how cool this is." And I'm just like, "Whatever, bro. Well, you're from Canada."
A great place.
Amazing place.
Beautiful place.
And that garage, that elevator door opened, and I was just like, "What the fuck did I just walk into the middle of?" It was so badass.
And everyone's humming around.
Dude, it was so badass.
Whistling while they work. It's
Dude, what a guy that guy is.
Totally.
I'm dying to meet him.
I'm
dying to meet him. I'm dying to meet him. I have to meet him.
Peter, clip that. Let's post
I
that.
have to meet him. I have to meet him.
100%.
I'd probably just hug him.
Oh, yeah.
I'd just be like, "Hey, listen, you're crazy successful. I've done okay, but I just want you to know, for the last 10 years, watching your videos, like that was the original of get the fuck off the couch and go fucking do something."
Totally.
That was the original.
Yeah. I have the humble brag. I have the only framed picture on Gary's desk of him and someone else, which is me, behind him on his desk. It's I gave him a framed photo that is a little bit bigger than a sports card because if you go in his office, it's all the sports cards.
Yep.
Right over his shoulder, it's
A picture of you and him.
it's me and him in 2017 when I
You did your first flip.
60K in student loan debt, and then it's me and him like a week prior to the pod we did, debt free. You know,
I mean, for you, that was like you're going to go, I just said this to you guys, right? I just said, take it from a guy who's about to be 50. You're going to have these moments in life. And if you don't slow down and just sit down for a minute and say, "Dude, what the fuck? Man?
Totally.
This was amazing. What a day. Like what just happened?"
Yep.
And I used to never have that kind of gratitude for myself. I would have it for others and things like that. But it's rare that I ever got to sit down. Now I do it in the sauna in the morning where I just have my gratitude for 20 minutes there.
Yeah.
And I think about the previous week, the previous month, and the day. And I'm like, I cannot believe how cool this is. I get to live this life.
Totally.
When you start your mornings like that, you won't believe how positive the rest of your day is.
Right.
You do that, and then you cold plunge for a few minutes. And then you start your day. Dude, you can't
Game
lose.
changer.
You can't. Kevin, I'm being dead serious.
I do the same thing.
It's a natural antidepressant.
Yeah.
Truly
Right.
a natural, and you do that, 30 days in a row. I struggled. And I've been reluctant to talk about my mental health struggles the last 5 years, but I've had some really, really low moments in my
Right.
life. And the timing of cold plunge and my mental health and those intersecting for no reason whatsoever,
Right.
of me saying, we need another modality at Sweathouz. I'm seeing this cold plunge thing. It seems hot. I know Hyper Ice. I love Hyper Ice. Jim Huther, those guys are amazing. So let's do both. And then I went and cold plunged once and I was like, man, it was really cold, but I actually feel energy. I did it in the afternoon. And then fast forward maybe 60, 90 days after that, where I was really at one of my lowest moments in life. And I was like, I'm just going to try to cold plunge for 30 days and just see how this thing really works.
Right.
I was 20 days in and I was like telling the team, we're in. We're in.
Was this pre-LFC bringing on, forming Sweathouz?
No.
Like
This is we're talking 21, 22.
Okay, gotcha.
We're talking the last 3 years.
I don't know if you tried it, loved it so much, you're like,
never
whatever
done,
that is.
Never done before. I
Gotcha.
truly was looking at other modalities that I wanted to be different for us. I didn't know what contrast therapy was.
Right.
I didn't know what any of this stuff was. And so I wanted something that was, I didn't want to have some big thing in another room and more space and all that. And so cold plunging made sense. And so, I mean, here we are, where in July of last year, we're selling licenses for Sweathouz for franchises, and things are going great, and we're just, things couldn't be better. But I also knew we just couldn't be saunas and showers.
Right.
We just couldn't. We had to have more than that. And so we went all in on cold plunging, and with the sauna, and now this new Burlington studio will have every suite will have its own shower, sauna, and cold plunge in
So
your private
smart.
suite. It's beautiful. I'm so excited, and I think listen, we've got 50 in construction right now. We'll finish the year with 75 open. I think we finished 25 with over 125 open with the way things are going.
Right.
And I think we have a chance to introduce something that really changes people's lives without an injection, without a pill.
Right.
Where we got to start taking time for ourselves. I mean, I made this post a couple months ago, and it was a little bit of a slap in the face for influencers, and I didn't mean it that way. It was 4% of the world has exposed abs, and 44% are struggling with mental health. And
Right.
what are we doing?
Right.
Like, what are we doing?
Totally.
I mean, this is insane. And so, and then I think about my own personal struggles that I think in the next couple of years I'll really probably dive deeper into, because I think people need to hear that story.
Totally.
Whereas no matter how much success you've had, how much love you have, when you don't believe in yourself and things are really down, you just keep going down and down and down. And
Right.
And I was fortunate to have some friends that lift me out of that. But man, I was in a deep, deep place,
Yeah.
a really deep place. No matter how much success I had, I was in a deep place.
Which is fascinating.
And part of it was just not having gratitude for myself and for what my faith has given me.
Right.
You
Totally.
know, and I'm not trying to get into that, but whether it's your faith is religion or whatever it is, just having faith in yourself is where it starts.
Totally.
Because once you start believing in yourself and believing that you are good enough and you don't have to make everybody happy,
Right.
You won't believe what can happen.
Even at 28, I'm at the age now where it's like, I'm not going to go out and, pick up a skateboard and try skateboarding.
Right,
Like you're,
right.
when you're a little kid and your
God,
parents put you in.
I would love to see that though. On TikTok.
Right.
You skateboarding would be amazing. Just flying down those stairs right behind you.
Like as a little kid, your parents put you into
Right,
football.
right,
In the
right,
wintertime, you do
right.
wrestling or basketball.
That's right.
But as a younger adult, your odds of literally jumping into something brand new is somewhat slim.
That's exactly right.
And for me, first time, thanks to you guys, was cold plunging at Sweathouz. And I could only do 30 seconds. And I remember I tried it once and I was like, I got out. But you know when your body hurts so
yes.
bad?
Oh, dude.
I'm leaning over the tub.
I know.
And I'm
I've been there.
stepping out like this. And I'm like, I will never do
I
that
know.
again.
I've
And
been
then
there. We've all been there.
to show up the next morning and
do
now
it
it's
again.
like 35 seconds.
That's right.
And I was like, whoa.
But Kevin, isn't it amazing how those little victories throughout your day equal a massive win for the day?
Yes.
And so I think that's where mentally you have to start thinking, right? Your alarm goes off at 6:15. Don't hit snooze. Get up at 6:15. That's a win,
Yes. Yep.
right? Before you go to the bathroom and brush your teeth, but then you know what? Take 5 or 10 minutes and read 10 pages of a book, whether it's the Bible, whether it's a book you want to enjoy, whatever it is, take those 10 minutes for yourself. Or what I do now is I'll sit in the sauna with my phone and I'll just write out kind of the things I'm really happy about.
Yeah.
And I do it in my notes, okay?
Yep.
And I go back to the previous day and it's the same stuff and I'll either try to add and keep going back to it. And even if I don't write something, I just read that.
Right.
And it get me thinking about my gratitude
that's
for that.
good.
So you start having these little wins. And when those little wins add up before lunch, dude,
You're on fire.
you're on fire.
Yeah.
You know? And listen, you're not always going to have little wins.
Right.
Because it's the adversity where we really make and drive character.
Totally.
And so you want those struggles to win. I need struggles to win. You can't just win and not have a struggle.
Right.
Motherfucker, you're going to have a fucking struggle.
Totally.
It's going to be a struggle every single day.
What's been some of the winters? I'm a big everything's seasonality.
Yeah.
There's highs and lows to life. It's all a pendulum, ups and downs. What's been some of the biggest winters you've had in business? Whether it's Bennett Orange Theory or Dogtopia.
Winters?
Or going through COVID, being in the fitness space.
I thought you said winters.
Yeah, winters. Like some of your worst, some of your toughest times
Oh, I got
in
it.
business.
Yeah.
Winters being like, the metaphor for like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say owning boutique fitness going into a global pandemic would probably drive you close to the edge. Let's just start with that.
How did
one.
that? Because everything shut down,
I mean,
right? They closed.
I mean, I
Mike
don't
Tan's
even,
stuck in Canada. Can't even.
Hey, no. He was stuck.
Right.
Stuck.
Right.
Like you had times you could go outside your house, right? You were allowed times you could go outside your house.
No matter how many loonies or teens you have.
No matter how many loonies you had.
Would this get me outside?
How about an extra loony for you, Mr. Mountie?
Yeah, even your Drake was stuck in his house, I believe.
Yeah. So, I would say my deepest depression, without a doubt, was owning boutique fitness going into. Well, let me tell you the full story.
Yeah, please.
You want to get into it,
Please.
motherfucker? We'll get into it.
Yeah, let's go.
So I sell the company. I sell 80% of the company,
This is
85% of the company. Hold on.
Orange
I'm
Theory?
going to tell you.
Yeah.
85% of the company in 2017. I own 12 Orange Theory studios, but I have white space for like another 48. Get like 9 bids. crazy amount of money, doesn't make sense, life-changing, yada, yada, yada. Roll a big amount. And the deal was always, I'm going to start this family office. I'll be CEO for 3 years and then I'm out. Let me go do this. And they said, yeah, we get it. No problem. So we're in market to sell the business a second time in February of 2020. And let me tell you, this one is a fucking monster. It's a big one. It's a big one. It's like this doesn't make sense. I'm finally going to get your leg extension. I'm going to get the leg extensions to be 6'2". I'm gonna go and I'm gonna finally have enough money.
I love that your brain went there
to get the knee extensions to go to 6'2", because I've always said if I was 6'2", the success I would have had would have been so next level. Oh my God, I got so screwed. So screwed. So we are in market, and I'm like, I'm spending money as if that check is cleared.
Oh wow.
I'm like, whatever you want, ladies, let's do it. Right? Maggie and Charlie and Reagan.
Knew everything.
Double stuff Oreos for everybody. Don't get the single stuff, right? Fudge stripes everywhere.
Yep.
And then global pandemic comes rolling around, and it's like, oh, hey, just a heads up. Not only are you going to get this check, but we need to put some money in the business to pay everybody to make sure no one leaves. And it was like, but hold on. What about me? But what about me? But I had a plan.
We already got the double stuff.
But I had a plan.
Ordered?
Yeah. The double stuffs. I have a pantry specifically for double stuffs. Right. I built a pantry just for double stuff Oreos. Yeah. So I'd like to know what I'm supposed to do with that.
I can't just return them.
Yeah. So. Can't send these somewhere.
What do we?
So that was a complete 180 that was just out of everyone's control. Right. Thank God I had started LFC, and it started kind of the mentally in my head of like, I got to have something after this, and I'm not done, because I'm, at the time I'm 43, 44.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm in. I mean, let's do more. So I'd already gone down this process, but guess what? The stuff I was building, I plan on using the money from the second sale to fund a lot of that.
Oh, wow.
So now I'm putting money back into the company. I'm growing these other two, and I got life. Right?
Right. Yeah.
Listen, my story is not unique. There are a lot of those. I mean, you think of what Portnoy did for restaurant owners. I mean, he is not getting an ounce of the credit he deserves. Totally. And not just him, his team, that they deserve for what they did. I mean, what they did was insane.
Yep.
And it's just, I mean, to me, that's like, these stories are everywhere. So my story is not unique, and I want to be very clear that I know my story is not unique. So, that was that we talked about. That was an adversity, and it took me mentally to a depressed place that I never thought I would be there.
Yep.
I didn't have the appreciation for people with depression until I experienced it.
Right.
And now that I've experienced that level of depression, and listen, a lot of the depression was me just being not smart. Just, when you get into a depressed state, you're not thinking correctly either.
Right.
And you're making bad decisions across the board. And there's no doubt that was me as well. So I was just compounding depression on top of depression. Right. And I think it took realizing that I could lose everything to really get to a point of, I gotta do the opposite of what I've been doing. It took me finding faith. And we have a former employee that I'll give him all the credit in the world to help me find faith.
Oh, I love that.
Yep. He's not a fan of mine now, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
When he quit at LFC, I told him, I said, listen, I don't know why we're in each other's life, but I just want you to know right now, you were in my life for my faith, and you took me to faith. Wow. And I think he appreciates that, and I think he knows that. And so, but by going to faith and starting to finally see faith, and having faith in myself is what got me to the level I'm at today.
Right.
Not level, to the place I'm at today mentally.
Right.
Mike and I's mind's energy is next level energy, but it's really specific. We have a very, very specific plan, and I'm a good operator. He's 10x the operator I am.
Really?
I'm a vision guy.
Mike 10?
Yeah. I'm a vision and brand guy.
Yep.
I have no problem taking the risk and thinking outside the box. And we've got 2 or 3 businesses in mind that we'll probably launch here in the next 12 to 18 months that are really outside the box, but they're around mental health, they're around healthy lifestyles, they're unique, they're different, and they appeal to a tremendous amount of people.
Right. I love that. And you guys are breaking ground here on the first contrast therapist studio in Burlington.
I can't wait for you guys to see it tonight.
I am so excited.
Yeah, it's really cool.
First of its kind.
First of its kind. We're going down this path. You're going to see a lot of art, a lot of musical art in there.
Yep.
I'm doing something unique there. I think there's a path with us in sound therapy. And there's something there that we want to do. And so we're really close to doing something in the sound therapy space.
Right.
And I can't wait to launch something like that later this year.
Yeah. And I think you and I hit the road doing our Triple D
we gotta
shows
do it.
of,
Yeah. I mean, Triple D is my favorite show ever. Guy Fieri's my favorite human on earth. The guy's the best. But I think you and I traveling, doing unique health and wellness things. I've never done acupuncture. That's got to be our first. I've never been hypnotized.
Bro,
you and I got to get hypnotized. We got to go to, I don't want to say it. And I don't want to say it here because
I think I know where you're going.
I think I may have something working there. So I
believe his name is Gandalf the Great. I'm pretty sure. I believe he's.
There's a place that I'm going to take you to.
Yes,
that's a business that we're really considering right now. And I'm of all the things I've done. I mean, listen, we're in the early stages of Sweathouz, and it's going to be amazing. But I think this next one. I mean, Mike Tan and I, we talk about we light up, and so. I can't wait to do it, but I got to get you out there with me in the next 69 days.
100%.
Do it with me. Yeah, it's gonna be badass.
We'll have to do some sort of check-in pod.
Yes.
6 months, maybe a year. We'll figure out something to really go.
Whatever you want to do.
To go long form. And, and I can't thank both of you guys for making the trip out.
Oh, dude, you're the best. I appreciate it, Kev.
And this is home base for you guys too. Whenever you guys want.
Thank you so much.
See you guys. So we'll see you tonight.
Awesome. See you tonight.